Okay, hear me out before you say that the title was clickbait. We do not have exact leaks about the new series plot, but I do feel there are a few things that will inevitably happen. And today, we'll be analyzing everything we know, as well as everything that we strongly believe. And heck, for some, I'm actually sure they will happen in the new Avatar series, Avatar 7 Havens. Avatar 7 Havens is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra. But in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse. This was the official announcement about the new Avatar series, which, I'm not gonna lie, it did spark quite the controversy about Korra. Some fans found the opportunity to hate on Korra, saying she's a fraud and that she ruined everything. Others were happy because they've always hated Korra, while others just saw the funny side from this and started to make memes. My question to you is, since the new era of Avatar is set at a period where everything is left in a cataclysmic mess, does this mean that Korra is actually a fraud or not? On one side, we all know that the duty of the Avatar is never easy, maintaining balance across 4 nations and between 2 different worlds, the spirit and physical world. It's never an easy task. But then again, most Avatars in history managed to achieve it. So, is Korra a fraud or not? Let us know what you think in those comments down below. But no matter what your opinion on that is, let's try to predict some plot points the story will have, as well as the challenges the new Avatar will be facing. In the interim between the ending of The Legend of Korra and the upcoming series, the world hasn't exactly become a utopia with peaceful relations between humanity and the spirits. In fact, the opposite is true. By connecting both worlds, Avatar Korra allowed humans and spirits to interact without constraint. Avatar 1 initially closed the spirit portals to separate both worlds to avoid conflict, but Korra naively believed humanity and spirits could finally coexist. Spoiler alert, they didn't. As we see in the comics, spirits and humans are nothing but easily living together as conflicts constantly arise. Maybe in the new series, tensions rose even higher, thus causing the mess we now see in Seven Havens. Alright, so for starters, we should mention that we're not sure what the name of the new Avatar will be, at least not at the time of making this video, so we'll be referring to her as the new Avatar. Now with that being said, I am sure about a few things here. If The Legend of Korra taught us anything, it's that each new Avatar era comes with its own set of political, cultural, and spiritual challenges. You see, I'm not sure on what season this will be, but it's kinda certain to me that one of the seasons, probably one of the first 2 if I had to guess, the show will be revolving around the struggle of the new Avatar to connect with her past lives, other than Korra, of course. As you may remember, Korra's connection with the past Avatars was severed after her fight with Unavatu. After the tragic events during harmonic convergence in The Legend of Korra, Rava, the spirit of light, was destroyed and the Avatar cycle was permanently damaged. Every past incarnation of the Avatar was wiped away from the Avatar cycle, leaving Korra as the only remaining Avatar to provide guidance for the next. Practically speaking, the Avatar cycle has received a hard reset. Unlike Avatar Aang, who had every incarnation to guide him, the next Avatar will only be able to receive wisdom and perhaps even regret from Avatar Korra. No matter the case, the inability to speak to past Avatars for guidance is an extreme disadvantage in the Avatar's toolkit from now on. The Avatar will have their work cut out for them, as there's no easy fix to the world's chaos. Now, a question I have about this is the following. Remember how the Avatar state works? As explained by Roku, the Avatar state is a defense mechanism designed to empower the Avatar with all the strength and knowledge of his or her previous lives. But now that connection is severed, right? So does this mean that the new Avatar will just not be able to speak with her previous lives? Or will that mean that her Avatar state will be incredibly weaker than what we're used to, if she's even able to access the Avatar state at all? I mean, remember when Aang was going into the Avatar state? You knew shit was about to go down, that's for sure. But now, if the new Avatar is only able to draw strength from Korra, well, it's surely a power boost, but not anywhere close as powerful as to what the Avatar state is meant to be. And I do think that the reward is too little for the risks it involves. After all, if the Avatar is killed while in the Avatar state, the Avatar cycle ceases to exist, and the reincarnation cycle is put to an end. That's why we say too much of a risk when the reward is just powers from one Avatar, aka Korra. Okay, now, let's read the official announcement again. Quote, a young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar. Okay, obviously what we already knew expected, the new avatar is an Earthborn bender. We also find out that she's a girl, but that's not really my point here. A young Earthbender discovers she's the new avatar. How does this happen in an era where chaos exists, right? My guess is that this new avatar does not find out in the traditional way, where the White Lotus discovers the new avatar through the usual avatar test they do with the toys. My guess is that the new avatar is probably an orphan, or is poor and lives in an isolated area where the White Lotus could not get their hands on them. And as a result, White Lotus does not find her early to train like it's happened so far. You see, up until now, the bending masters of each nation knew who the avatar is when they had them pick toys. Or, as we saw in The Legend of Korra, this happened when the White Lotus was searching for newborn waterbenders to find the new avatar. Yeah, I suppose Korra did make it kinda easy to them when she could bend 3 of the 4 elements while she could barely walk. But when it comes to the new avatar, well, now that you mention it, will the White Lotus even exist? I mean, we're about to witness an era where everything is ruined, so I assume that the White Lotus will probably be weakened as well when compared to how organized and powerful it was in The Legend of Korra. They had soldiers and members everywhere, helping the Avatar keep order in the world. But now that the world is in complete chaos, a fair guess would be to assume that the White Lotus is now very weakened, if not non-existent. Also, why do I assume that she's an orphan? Well, because the announcement says that, quote, she and her long-lost twin sister, which does not happen so easily in families living normal and easy lives. This probably means her family is, again, either really poor, living in harsh conditions, or that she herself is an orphan. If I had to guess, I would think the new avatar will feature parallels with both Aang and Korra. I mean, Aang and Korra were basically polar opposites. One rushes into violence, and one tries everything in his power to avoid it. One casually threatens to kill people when she gets angry, and one could literally not sleep for days just because of the thought that he had to kill another human being. One was physically weak and spiritually powerful. The other was insanely strong physically, but lacked in the spiritual aspect. I mean, check how the two of them react on the same exact situation. Now, the new avatar will probably be somewhere in the middle of these two, but how exactly this will be executed still remains to be seen. But I'll be honest, I'm insanely hyped and really looking forward to seeing what the producers have in store for us. I really think the new series will be epic. But back to our point at hand, she and her long-lost twin sister. You see, something that was left unexplored in previous Avatar installments was the element of family struggles and family dynamics, at least as far as the Avatar is concerned. I mean, Aang was raised by monks, and despite the fandom going absolutely insane to know who Aang's biological parents were, not even a mention was made of them in like ever. Korra, on the other hand, had a loving family with a mother and a father who loved her and would do anything to protect her. Plus, Korra had no siblings. Same thing with Aang. So I would be willing to bet that the new Avatar will face struggles and difficulties navigating life while ongoing challenges and struggles with her sister. Maybe her sister, that is literally her identical twin, will feel envious or jealous of her. Maybe she thinks like this: why does she get to be the Avatar, the chosen one, while I get to be a nobody? We're twins, literally the same, but at the same time, one of us had all the luck in the world while I was born with nothing. This could cause some interesting rivalries between the two. Maybe if her sister takes it too far, we might even see her trying to become the Dark Avatar by fusing with Vaatu. Now, this gives me Kokushibo versus Yoriichi kind of vibes. Demon Slayer fans, I know you got the reference for sure. But back to Avatar. Yeah, I know Vaatu is supposed to be sealed for 10,000 years, but I don't know. Maybe there's a way for him to break free somehow. Who knows? Imagine two twin sisters, one of them trying to restore balance in the world, while the other tries to destroy it. But wait, let's go ahead and read that announcement once again. Quote, in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Okay, so what I make of this is that the new Avatar will have to basically destroy the foundations of this corrupt world from within, so that the world can start healing from the ground up. This will make her be seen as the villain to people, which her sister will use to her benefit to shift people towards her side. Thus, the part hunted by humans. Now, how about the spirits? Maybe the fact that her sister is literally identical to her might mean that her sister does something in the spirit world that turns spirits against the Avatar. After all, they do look the same. Or, hear me out, presumably the only real fix in this cataclysmic mess we're witnessing is by closing all 3 spirit portals across the world to disconnect the spirit world from reality. So, it's likely that the main quest in Avatar 7 Havens will revolve around locating each portal, closing them, and possibly convincing the spirits of the world to willingly leave. Okay, so with all this being said, I'd like to share a theory some fans had about the new series. This theory claims that the two sisters are both the Avatar. They just don't know it. One sister, which will be the Avatar we all see, will be born an Earthbender that will in time discover she can bend one more element. Once she does that, everyone will see and understand that she is the Avatar. But what about the second sister then? Well, hear me out. The second sister will be thought of being a non-bender, thus creating this hatred and jealousy towards her sister. But in reality, the two sisters will both be able to bend two of the elements. The second sister will just have two elements other than the one she was expected to have, aka two elements other than earthbending, making her mission of mastering her two elements even more difficult. I mean, other than Korra, who was a prodigy at that, imagine having to bend an element you have no idea you can bend. Normally, avatars have to go through years of training while also knowing that they are meant to bend those elements, so they can bend these foreign elements to them. So she, thinking that she's not even a bender to begin with, will make things unimaginably more difficult. She would maybe be trying to bend earth and couldn't do that, not because she's not talented or because she cannot bend properly, but rather because she was trying to bend earth when in reality, she cannot physically do it. She can only bend two other elements, and with both the White Lotus and her connection to past lives gone, she's left all alone, thinking she cannot bend at all. Now, to be honest, I really like this theory, since it'd be something new we haven't seen. Now, I'm not saying it'll be loved by everyone, as I know some people are gonna criticize, as being the Avatar was never meant to be two people. But I don't know, call me crazy, I think it would be a new dynamic and something fresh we've not seen so far in the series. Something else left to see about the new Avatar is which of the special forms of bending she'll be able to bend. For example, Aang could energy bend, had seismic sense, and could redirect lightning. Korra could metal bend, energy bend, and also had seismic sense. Call me crazy, but I would love for the new Avatar to be able to blood bend, or heck, even produce lightning. That'd be epic. Now, a thing most of you probably never thought about is this. We'll probably get to see new forms of special bending, just like we saw in Legend of Korra with lava bending being introduced as a new form of special bending, and not something only avatars could do. I mean, back in the day, lava bending was considered an avatar-only feat, made possible by bending both fire and earth. But this later got changed in The Legend of Korra. But okay, my personal favorite when it comes to newly introduced special bending abilities in Avatar has to be fart bending, wielded by none other than the legendary himself, Milo. But now the question remaining is, what new special bending forms will we see in Avatar 7 Havens? And most importantly, will Milo teach the new Avatar how to fart bend? Well, we're gonna have to wait a bit more to find out for certain. Another key thing I would love to see is which characters from Korra's generation will be part of the new series, given that we don't yet have a confirmed timeline about the new Avatar, aka how many years after the events of Legend of Korra this takes place. We don't know for sure how some of the older characters like Milo, Jinora, Bolin, and the rest will be. Now, I definitely love to see Milo as an old man, that's for sure, but the essence is this: all of Aang's squad will probably be gone by now, with the only exception being maybe Zuko, somehow managing to reunite with his uncle in the spirit world, which if I'm being fully honest, I doubt. Iroh could achieve this feat because of how spiritual he was, something that Zuko was, well, not. So unless Korra died rather young, the cast from her generation will probably be either really old or even dead as well. Since it's about a century later, this also means we probably won't see Korra or her original crew. However, their legacies will undoubtedly shape the new Avatar's journey. Imagine a world where the spirit and human realms have fully merged, bending has evolved, and entirely new abilities have emerged. Honestly, the hype is real. Avatar: The Last Airbender set the bar for animated storytelling, and The Legend of Korra gave us stronger representation, deeper themes, and incredible action sequences. If Seven Havens continues that trend, which we're sure it will, we're in for something legendary. Plus, you know what? I bet the animation is gonna be insane. If we got action sequences like this roughly 20 years ago, imagine what we're gonna get now with the series being established, fans being hyped, and the budget being multiple times that of previous installments. And quite honestly, new technologies make animations even easier. Again, I cannot wait for the fight scenes we're gonna get. They're gonna be epic! Having covered these, we still need to examine something else now. How advanced will technology be? I mean, we saw in The Legend of Korra a technological setting similar to that of the Industrial Revolution we had in real life, with obviously a little bit more bending-like influence. Saying that, we estimate that this new series takes place about 50 to 100 years after the events of Legend of Korra. So does this mean that the technological achievements will be insane as well? Are we talking about cell phones, planes, modern cars, weapons, and all that? Well, yes and no. On one hand, it would be fair to assume that things like that exist, but on the other hand, we've been told that the setting will be apocalyptic, aka it'll be as if time went backwards rather than forwards. This takes our minds more towards medieval times rather than futuristic times. So I suppose this is something interesting that's still left to be seen. The spirit world, open since Korra's era, will surely play a significant role. Decades after the merge, its influence could explain the cataclysmic event and the energy storms ravaging the land. Recurring spirit characters like fan-favorite Uncle Iroh might appear, offering wisdom or aiding the avatars in reconnecting with their lost past lives. This spiritual layer continues to blend the mystical with the tangible as the series explores the consequences of a world forever changed by Korra's mysterious actions. Another thing we know for a fact now is that the new series will feature 26 episodes for its first season, which makes Seven Haven's first season the longest yet in the Avatar franchise. Compared to The Last Airbender's 20-episode seasons and The Legend of Korra's 12-episode arcs, this extended format might allow for deeper storytelling and character development. With the protagonists being young, there's potential for multiple seasons to explore their growth and evolving personalities. This raises questions about the target demographic. Will the series aim at younger viewers, legacy fans, or strike a balance between the two? I do believe it's probably going to be a blend of both, similar to how it happened in both of the previous Avatar installments. The Avatar is supposed to bring balance to the world, but whatever happened between Korra's life and the present series has fundamentally changed the Avatar's role. No longer is the Avatar a hero, but someone who brought catastrophe to the Four Kingdoms and even the spirit world. With the state of things, the next Avatar is going to have their hands full, especially with only Avatar Korra to guide them. Nickelodeon and Avatar Studios haven't revealed too many plot details yet, but the title Seven Havens has already sparked major speculation among fans. Some believe the Seven Havens could refer to new spiritual realms within the Avatar world, while others think it might be a reference to different regions within the Earth Kingdom. What we do know is that Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino, the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, are overseeing the project under Avatar Studios. So we're guaranteed top-tier storytelling, character development, and world building. And for the final point I'd like to cover in this video, animals and spirits. You see, just like in both Avatar: The Last Airbender and in The Legend of Korra, we were introduced to some new animal species. Flying bisons, flying lemurs, earthbending badger moles, polar bear dog, lion turtles? Come on, you get the idea. Now what remains to be seen is what new animals we will see in the new series. And even more than that, what animal this new Avatar is gonna have as a companion. Same thing with spirits. In both installments, we saw new spirits being introduced, so it goes without saying that new spirits will appear in the new series as well. What abilities will they have? How powerful will they be? And whether they be good or evil, the role they play all remains to be seen. But if I had to lay down a guess, it's gonna be epic. Click on this video next, where I'm explaining as well as analyzing all 15 major spirits shown so far in the world of Avatar. Go on, check it out!